If you are a UK electrician, wondering whether Australia is actually realistic, here is the whole path, step by step, and just as important, how to walk it without wasting months or money at each stage. No sad story, just the real process, start to finish. First, why it is worth the effort. A qualified electrician in Australia earns around $100,000 a year, against a UK median of about £39,000. That is a real step up, even after a higher cost of living. And Australia is short of electricians, which is the only reason any of this is possible. Now the journey. There are really 4 stops between you and a licensed job in Australia, and I will show you each one, including where most people trip. Stop 1. Find out if you even qualify. Electrician sits on Australia's core skills occupation list, the list of jobs the country will sponsor, so the trade clears the first test. But being on the list is not the same as you qualifying, which depends on your age, your experience, and your paperwork. The fastest way to know where you personally stand is the free 2-minute check at uktoaustraliajobs.com. It looks at your occupation and your background and gives you an opportunity score, an honest read before you spend a penny or a day on anything else. That is stop 1, and it costs nothing. Stop 2, the skills assessment. Because electrical work in Australia is licensed, your training has to be checked against Australian standards through the Offshore Skills Assessment Program run by Trades Recognition Australia. Pass it, and you are issued an Offshore Technical Skills Record, the document that unlocks everything after. To be eligible, you generally need your apprenticeship and qualification plus about 4 years on the tools, or around 6 years without formal training. Here is where people lose months. They lodge before their evidence is strong enough, and strong evidence is specific. Detailed reference letters on company letterhead, matched to real dates, payslips or tax records that line up with the work you claim. Proof that covers recent years, not just a decade ago. Assessors reject vague CVs, and every rejection costs you time and money to redo. So before this stage, it is worth having a real person look over your case, which is exactly what the review on the site is for. Stop 3. Choose your visa route. There are 2. Employer-sponsored on the Skills in Demand visa, where an Australian business that cannot fill a role sponsors you, no points test, usually 6 to 14 months from sponsorship to grant, with a path to permanent residency after 2 years. Or the points route, where you are scored on your age, your English, and your experience, and committing to a regional area adds 15 points. Which route actually fits you is not obvious, and picking wrong wastes the most time of all. This is exactly what a short strategy call is for, mapping your specific profile to the route most likely to succeed before you commit to anything. A quick word on the 2 things people worry about most here. First, age. For the points route, being under 45 when you are invited matters, so it is a real factor, but it is not the wall people assume. And the sponsored route is more flexible. Whether it counts against you depends on your exact age and your points, which is, again, something to check rather than fear. Second, regional. People hear regional and picture being sent to the middle of nowhere as a consolation. It is close to the opposite. Regional Australia is where the shortage is sharpest, which is why it carries the extra 15 points, quicker nomination in many cases, and its own direct path to permanent residency. For a lot of electricians, regional is not the fallback. It is the smart route. Stop 4. Get licensed on arrival. Your Offshore Technical Skills Record lets you apply for a provisional license the moment you land. You work under a licensed electrician, you complete gap training on Australian rules and safety, and then you hold a full Australian license in your own name. Supervised, not instant, but clear. So what does the whole thing look like end to end? Roughly this. Month 1, you gather your evidence. Months 2 to 5, the skills assessment, while you line up a sponsor or lodge your points application. Months 6 to 12, the visa is lodged and processed. Then you arrive, get provisionally licensed, and work toward your full license. A realistic run is 9 to 18 months. Faster with clean paperwork. Slower if you start a stage before you are ready. And that is the theme through all of it. The trade is wanted. The pathway is open. What separates the people who make it from the people who give up halfway is not luck. It is doing the steps in the right order, with the right evidence, on the right route. Most of the wasted time and money comes from guessing at those three things alone. So, do not start by spending money, and do not start by guessing. Start with stop 1. The free 2-minute check gives you your opportunity score, an honest read on where you stand. If it is worth going further, a real person looks at your case, because this is not a faceless website. Behind it is Thinking Australia, a family-run UK firm that has spent more than 25 years connecting people to the right registered migration agents and the right employers in Australia. They do not just tell you the rules, they point you to the specific people who can actually move your case forward. That is the difference. Information is everywhere. The right introductions are not. Start with the free check, 2 minutes. The link is in the description.